What's up, guys? Welcome back, or welcome to my channel if this is your first time. This is my channel Pixie Dust and Spirit Alchemy, where we talk about all sorts of things magical, mystical, occult, supernatural, taboo, stuff like that. Guys, today's video I am doing perhaps a part 1 of 2 video because there's stuff that I want to say about the rest of the Gallery of Magick books, but today's video specifically is going to be my top 5 favorite Gallery of Magick books. And so I will be telling you guys why they're my favorite book, and we'll go from there. So let's get started. Now, I do just want to say, first of all, that this was a very difficult decision. I mean, for some of them, no. For filling like the 4th and 5th slots of this list, yes. I was going to go through like all my books and do like my favorite to least favorite, but that would have been such a long video, and so I decided to just choose my top 5 favorite and then later perhaps go through the rest of them and do like however many I have. I don't have all of the GoM books, but just out of the ones that I do have. So I wanted to today share my top 5 favorite Gallery of Magick books with you guys, why they're my favorite, and hopefully this maybe inspires people to work with these books if you haven't already. Or maybe you learned something new, or just are hearing somebody else's personal feedback and reviews. So I have done reviews on, I think, all of these books so far, like an individual reviews. So, if you wanted to check those out, I can post links to them in the video as I go. This is not going to be a review, it's just going to be like why these books have a special place in my heart and why they're my favorite. So, number 1, and this may seem obvious to some people if you are regular viewers of my channel or scroll through my channel a little bit, you might see this book around a lot. And another disclaimer, I am in no way associated with the Gallery of Magick. I am just a human being that has a lot of their books and reviews them. So it may seem like I'm here to up the sales, but I'm not. I don't get any like stipend for this or anything from the Gallery of Magick. So number 1 is Wealth Magic by Damon Brand. This is in my top slot for perhaps obvious reasons, perhaps not, but this book single-handedly, I believe, has had a massive impact on changing my life. And this is probably the book that I have worked with the most since, number 1, it is already a 6-month or more long process, so you're really diving into this and committing to this when you do it. And number 2, I've done it twice, so I know the book very well. In addition, we have this Wealth Magic podcast that I've done with some of my acquaintances, some of my friends. And so we've really dissected this book and looked into the origins of the magic and really analyzed each ritual in it. And I love it too because I see it working in other people's lives. I see other people who pick up this book and they also have, profound changes or experiences. And I mean, it's a book to truly shift your life into one of wealth. And I don't know where my life would be if I had not ever picked up this book. I mean, it could be that it's on a similar path, but that's just not the choice I made, so there's no way for me to know unless I meditated and got in touch with this alternate timeline of myself or something, but I haven't done that yet. And so I have a lot of gratitude for this book and a lot of respect for this book too, because there's a lot of powerful magic in this. And it does have the ability to work in your favor and put you into a life of wealth if you're not there already. So, number 1. Now, number 2 may come as a bit of a surprise because I don't talk about this book very often because it's just not one that I share a lot about, and I haven't even really worked with it that much. But number 2 is Magical Seduction. And some people might be like, whoa, really? Like, wow. I will say, when I first got into magic and when I first scrolled through all the Gallery of Magick books, I saw this one and I saw Adventures in Sex Magic, and I was like, I'm not ready for that yet. But as you go, as a magician, you eventually your comfort levels evolve, and I was curious. And it helped because I had had some friends and acquaintances who had also worked with this book, and so I was like, well, let me see what this is about. So now, this is number 2 for me, because I have had strong successes with it. And I haven't used it very often. I've had the book for maybe 5 years or so, and I've used it a couple times. But this book taps us into this Eros energy. And Eros, first of all, in astrology, is an asteroid related to your sexual desires, what turns you on. And with this book, if anyone has done the rituals in this book, or have read the book, that it's an intimate book. I mean, you're intimate with yourself. And there's a lot of power in sex. And we're not, this isn't the Adventures in Sex Magic books, so we're not having sex and stuff. But there's a lot of power in building up our aura of attraction and enhancing that to the point where it's like a magnet that draws in these people that we notice later on, that I've noticed later on after having worked with this book, that drew them in. It was like, after I did this book, I've done only two of the rituals in here. I've done the ritual just to make yourself more desirable or attractive, and then I have done one to essentially seduce a specific person, and both of them worked very well. The first one, whichever one is the one to create a magnetic aura of seduction, that one is my favorite. Because after I would do the ritual, the next days I would go to work and I would just almost feel this pulsating energy radiating off of me, and there were these specific interactions where it was just with strangers, and nothing came of it. It wasn't like I hooked up with these people or something. It was just the attraction was there, and there was a level of intensity with the energy between me and these strangers, and I could feel their interest in me and maybe my interest in them and such, stronger than normal. I mean, it's not like all the time I'm getting attractive glances or whatever, or entertaining it. But when I'm making this aura of seduction on myself more stronger, it works powerfully. The other ritual that I did, which was to attract a person that you desire, did work. It worked well. That's all I will say. The relationship did not develop or anything, but it did work, and the other person could feel it. I don't know if that person knows what was going on. Not that it bent that person's will in any way, but there was an enhanced attraction between us at the time. So that is why this book is number 2. If you have not worked with this book yet, or used this book yet, step out of your comfort zone. I recommend it. Alright, number 3. Magical Protection. This book arguably could be switched with number 2, but I don't know, Magical Seduction really felt like it needed to be number 2. So number 3 is Magical Protection, because this book has essentially, it sounds like I'm exaggerating when I say it saved my life, and like it didn't like save my life, but this book has helped me immensely. Like the further that I've gotten into magic and the further that I've gotten into the exploration of energies and spirits and you know, contacting other entities, the more you need to protect yourself. And this book is an incredible resource in cleansing space, removing parasitic energies, becoming just more magically protected yourself. I did a wonderful video with a great friend of mine recently about this book, so check that out if you haven't seen it. Frater Zanatos did an excellent job of just telling about this book and why this is the key to all other magic. You know, really, if this wasn't like a my favorites list, if it was just an in order list, this should be done before you're doing wealth magic or magical seduction or any of them, to protect yourself before you do these. So this isn't like an order of which ones I would do first. It's just which ones that I have had that I am the most fond of. But this one, again, I could feel the results intensely. Like once I had sort of just really protected myself, and anytime I use it, I can feel it working. I can feel the space being cleared or the parasitic energies being removed, or I can feel this like level of protection, energetic protection surrounding me. And it works. I mean, it just works. And it is important as magicians to protect ourselves. And, you know, you never know what sort of energy is going to be brought into a space or what energy is already in a space when you're entering into a space. So it's good to have a resource to cleanse that space too. In addition, this is also a great book for beginners. Beginners, advanced, intermediate, whatever level of magician you are, this book is a go-to. So, now, number 4. This is where it got really hard. This is where I could substitute, like, a few other books. Not a few, maybe, like, a couple others. Like, I'll say which ones at the end of this that I wanted to put on the list, and why I didn't, but I'll just continue first. So, number 4 is the Magical Cash book. This book has a very special place in my heart because it is the first Gallery of Magick book that I ever worked with and that I ever had success with. All of the books on this list I have favorited because of the success that I've had with them. And that's not to say that I haven't had success with the other books that I've worked with. But, you know, there's reasons behind it, and if I were favoriting them like I am, then this is the order that it would go in. And this book works in a pinch when you need it to. Nitika is a great spirit. And I see some comments on my channel about, like, people saying that, like, Nitika doesn't actually like when we call on her for money magic and stuff. And, I mean, like, okay, maybe if I were a spirit in eternity and people were always hitting me up for extra money, I would also maybe be annoyed with that job or something. But, like, she comes through for me every time. And for several other people that I know that have worked with this book, they have success. So maybe she begrudgingly does her job, but she does it. She helps you. And it works. And it's simple and it's quick. I mean, it takes 11 days. But this is also a great book for beginners. And I say that because it was the first book that I worked with. And I found success, you know, relative success to my situation at the time. And it's different than wealth magic, you know, because it's just a quick result. You're just getting like a few, you know, asking for a certain amount of money. You can use it for emergency cash, bursts of income whenever you need, you know, and you'd be surprised at how the results manifest. My friend Arjuna has a couple good videos, I think, on his results with this book, and those are worth checking out too, because his results manifested in some unique ways that were still beneficial and still what he asked for. So, this was number 4 in my list. And number 5, which may surprise you as well, and this was also a tough choice. Number 5 is Mystical Words of Power. Now, this book, as you can see, I have used it well. There's, I have several little bookmarkings in here. I chose this book as number 5 because there's so much that you can do with it. The rituals in this book are simple. They don't take very long. And in the beginning of this book, there's, I think, 7 rituals that essentially strengthen your aura, ground you. There's some to enhance your perception, your knowledge. I believe it heightens your awareness and opens up your chakras, and it makes you more prepared, better prepared to do magic. If you're trying to connect with your higher self, the first 7 rituals of this book are a great way to do that. Or to connect with, spirit guides or just higher levels of consciousness. In addition, the rest of the rituals in this book are so diverse. There's open the emotions within attraction, uncover honest feelings, see beyond fear, find wisdom to make a decision, discover your authentic potential, experience improved intuition. And they title part 2 of this as World Changing, because they are rituals to change your world. And this is part of the Words of Power series that the Gallery of Magick has, where there's Words of Power, Greater Words of Power, and then this is Mystical Words of Power. And I think this is one of the best sellers among the Gallery of Magick books because of the rituals in it. It takes the magic of the others to another level. And so I have used this book in times when I just needed to find a little more peace, in times when I do want to connect with my higher self, in times when I am trying to open the emotions within attraction, or finding new ideas for projects, or whatever. There's almost a ritual for most states of being. Maybe not most, but a lot of states of being. And they don't take very long. They're simple to do, and they work. There's simple energy shifts that we can apply to our lives that make just these subtle differences. But yet, those subtle differences make all the difference in the world. And so I've done a video on this too a couple years ago, or maybe a year ago or so, and so I'll post a link to all of these in this video too, so if you're curious and haven't worked with any of these books, you can go and watch that video or something, see the reviews, and because I do go into more depth about them. But this book, because of the magic in here, because of what you can do, because of the extensive knowledge and power in this book, is number 5, and because of the simplicity and the subtlety. So now, the books that didn't make it on this list and that were this close to making it on this list are Angels of Alchemy and Archangels of Magic. Now, I didn't put those on this list. In another video, in a different life, if I had done this at a different time, perhaps I would put Archangels of Magick in my top 5 because I do love the beauty of that book. And I know in my review, when I did the review on that, I did say that it was one of my favorite Gallery of Magick books. And it is. But I haven't worked with it as much as I've worked with some of these other ones. So therefore, I don't know it as well. It is beautifully written. The magic in there is incredibly powerful, and I did have results with it. It is an incredible book. I just need to work with it more. And Angels of Alchemy as well is also an incredible book to work with. It's subtle rituals, and I have a couple videos on this book that I can post a link to. One with my good friend James McMillan, where we just talk about the powers of these angels, of these divine names. And, both of those books are books that I've had successes with. And I was so close to putting them in this book, or in this video. And the reason I didn't, just because of the reasons that I've stated, this is just the top 5 of my favorite videos. If I could tie one, maybe I would tie Angels of Alchemy, but maybe I need to work with that one a little bit more too. I have not worked with every Gallery of Magick book. I don't own every Gallery of Magick book yet. Maybe I will at some point. I don't know. Some I'm not really interested in, but I do own a lot of them, and I have worked with a lot of them. And a lot of them have worked for me. 72 Angels of Magick I've also had success with. All the videos on my channel that I've done book reviews on, I have had success with, which is why I do the reviews and share my experience with you. They just didn't necessarily make it into my top 5 list. But that's okay, because they're still great books, they're still good to work with, and that's also why I said that maybe I would make this into like a 2-part video and do the next 6 out of 10 books, and they're not best to worst. It's just my favorites in some particular order that is special to me. So that's my list, and I'm curious to hear what you guys think. If any of y'all have worked with any of these books that I have just suggested and mentioned and explained why they're my favorites. I'm curious to see your thoughts on it as well. So leave that in the comments. Subscribe to my channel if this is your first time hearing about Gallery of Magick stuff and you want to know more, because I have a lot of that stuff on this channel. If you agree, disagree, haven't worked with the book, have some questions, ask me why or tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video if you've made it this far. Stay tuned for my next video of the next favorite Gallery of Magick books that I will be doing at some point in time. And we'll see what comes up next in the favorites list. So, guys, happy July. I really try not to say that time is going by so fast, because it just does. But really, I'm really determined to stop that, to make time go by slower, to be present and self-aware enough and in the present moment enough and try enough new things and all that, to just not think every day damn, time is going by so fast, because it's so frustrating when people say that, because it's true and we all feel it, and it just gets faster as you get older apparently. So I'm determined to fix that so that we can be man, time's good. So anyways, guys, everyone stay kind, stay curious, stay safe, and until next time, peace.